News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
News Talk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Markus Kaarma's attorneys want a change of venue. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Wednesday, July 23rd, 2014. I must tell you, the loudest thunderclap I have ever heard in my life, and I've been around for a while, was this morning about 2:45 right outside my window. I live in the Linda Vista area, and I found out later from the National Weather Service it's what's called a cloud-to-ground lightning strike, which is much more violent and louder than most lightning strikes. Actually hit a tree and burst into flames somewhere in the Linda Vista area. No damage to homes, but anyway, that's what was going on. That's what that big thunderclap was this morning, in case you heard it like I did. Our good morning, everyone. It's time for Montana Morning for this Wednesday, July 23rd, and our newscast sponsored by Temp Right Service. On a plumbing or heating needs or air conditioning needs, call Team Blue at 728-1111. Defense attorneys are asking a state judge to decide outside the public eye what, if any, evidence of prior bad acts might be used as evidence during the deliberate homicide trial of Markus Kaarma in the shooting death of a German exchange student in Missoula. KECI Television, our news partners, are reporting that attorney Nate Holloway filed the motion on Friday. The defense team also filed a motion to move the trial out of Missoula County, arguing the community outcry and news coverage have created a bias against Kaarma that cannot be overcome. A crashed semi on Highway 200 near Bonner caused road and river closures yesterday. Sergeant Chad Dever with the Highway Patrol was on the scene shortly after 9 a.m.
At about marker 4 on Highway 200, a semi driven by a gentleman out of Las Vegas was eastbound on Highway 200 and appears that he may have taken the corner too fast and lost control, and the vehicle overturned onto its right side and landed in the ditch. There's minor injuries. Luckily, the driver was wearing his seatbelt. It could have been a lot worse.
Semi was loaded with chemicals, some of which ended up in the river.
We're right beside the river here, so we don't want to contaminate the river. Right now, we're not. We're trying to confirm exactly what is. I believe it's an industrial-type soap. We're going to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't go in the river. That's why we're coordinating pumping out the containers before we upright the vehicle and tow it away.
Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks closed the Blackfoot River from Johns Root all the way down to Kona Bridge on the Clark Fork. Rivers were reopened around 4 p.m. after it was discovered the soap was heavily diluted and not dangerous. A new report says the overall well-being of children in Montana slipped compared to other states. Montana ranked 31st in the annual Kids Count report released yesterday by the Annie E. Casey Foundation. Montana ranked 28th in last year's report. Missoula County Attorney Fred Van Valkenburg received a special award, the President's Award, Sunday from the National District Attorneys Association, recognizing him for his over 2-year battle with the Department of Justice over sexual assault investigations. I spoke with Attorney General Tim Fox yesterday. He was there and said Van Valkenburg was deserving of the honor.
Fred preserved the prosecutorial discretion of local prosecutors, not only in his office, but also stood up for prosecutors nationwide. So the NDAA presented him with the President's Award, which is the highest award that they present to anyone in their association.
Van Valkenburg said after his over 2-year fight with the DOJ, he received a lot of behind-the-scenes support from other prosecutors around the country.
None of them actually wanted to join the suit. We had to kind of pursue this on our own. I think that there was some reluctance just because of the subject matter of the thing, which was sexual assault. It's very, very difficult to take any kind of a position that isn't sort of considered politically correct.
Van Valkenburg said one of the most gratifying aspects of the award was that it would put a positive note on his record as he prepares to wrap up his career in public service.
I've had a long career, both as an elected official and just in public life, and I certainly didn't want to end it with some kind of cloud over me, and I think this goes a long ways towards removing that.
Van Valkenburg is retiring in December. Kirsten Pabst will be the new county attorney in January. The Montana Supreme Court has publicly reprimanded a Billings judge over his comments about a 14-year-old rape victim. District Judge G. Todd Baugh appeared yesterday for censure, which is a public declaration that he's guilty of misconduct. The Supreme Court has also suspended Baugh for 31 days, effective in December, which is when he retires. Two court rulings that basically canceled each other out yesterday brought dozens of nervous calls to the office of Montana State Insurance Commissioner Monica Lindeen. Spokeswoman Jennifer McKee says both decisions came out of separate courts. They both addressed the subject of tax credits granted to those who have health exchange policies through the federal exchanges.
Well, there were two circuit court decisions that came out today, and they're in conflict. They have to do with 5 or 6 words in the Affordable Care Act legislation that talk about how Americans get tax credits in the individual health insurance market.
McKee brings the matter home to Montanans.
The process of reconciling these two court decisions will be arduous and long. It will involve the federal court system, and in the meantime, the tax credits as Montanans experience them will not change. So if you're currently getting a tax credit to help you pay for health insurance, that's not going to go away.
McKee said any final resolution of the issue is out of the hands of individual states and will be up to federal courts and lawmakers that could take years to decide. Montana Governor Steve Bullock received a letter this week from the head of the Department of Homeland Security informing him that the state would be granted an extension in complying with the driver's license requirements of the Real ID Act. State Attorney General Tim Fox said, rather tongue-in-cheek, the extension is welcome news.
I think this extension that was not asked for certainly is welcome, but it's just illustrative of the fact that Real ID doesn't work. Montana elected leaders in the last number of years have been united in their opposition to Real ID, and I have to give kudos to Governor Bullock for his leadership in opposing Real ID.
Fox says the Real ID Act infringes on state sovereignty.
Montana and the other states have traditionally had the authority to issue their own driver's licenses and identification cards, and Real ID certainly has infringed on the state sovereignty in that regard. There have also been issues with privacy, having to share Montanans' private information with not only the federal government but other states.
DHS will now allow federal agencies to accept Montana driver's licenses through October 15th of 2015. If the extension had not been filed, Montanans could have been hindered when trying to use state driver's licenses in federal buildings or even to travel in airports. And finally, two former bank employees of the Miles City branch of Stockman Bank have filed a lawsuit alleging sexual discrimination by their superiors. The Billings Gazette reports Cindy Conley of Miles City and Tracy Burchell of Castle Rock, Colorado, filed a federal complaint alleging their supervisors subjected them to a pattern of unwelcome, inappropriate, and offensive conduct of a sexual nature. Our News Talk time is 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
A few isolated showers and thunderstorms are possible early today. We'll see mostly sunny skies with temperatures topping out in the low 90s. By late afternoon, we have strong storms in the forecast. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.
Right now, we have overcast skies. It was quite a lot of rain, thunder, and lightning between about 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. this morning, but it's calmed down now. Pretty much just cloudy. We have some light rain in the area and 62 degrees in Missoula.